You are listening to Charting Wealth's comprehensive review and forecast for the week beginning Monday, the 16th of July, 2018. We are in the Miami airport, again, traveling, and we want to get this out to you before it gets too late in the evening, have other functions we have to head to. So, anyway, let's jump into this. Don't forget, we're going to be putting out over the weekend, actually, we'll probably do it Sunday afternoon or evening, our short chart trading training that we are doing for the folks who purchase our book. And if you have purchased the book, you're on that email list. If you haven't, you need to. It's available, Charting Your Way to Wealth. It is our book that explains what we do. It gets you into total knowledge about why we do what we do, how we do it, what the derivative oscillator is, the price percent oscillator, why we use the price percent oscillator as our main indicator, Bollinger Bands, you name it, it's all explained there. So you purchase that book from us and you get on the list and you get the special 2-hour, and again, it's the 2-hour chart. It's not a 2-hour training. It's the 2-hour chart, short chart training. If you're interested in learning how to short chart trade, that means more along the lines of day trading, being able to do shorter trades with options and such. This is what you need. So please go ahead, buy the book. You need to buy it now. And all you have to do is follow the link at the corner of the screen or just go to chartingwealth.com. Everything we post right there in those daily posts, you will see a link to the book. And we have sold, I think we're on the 4th printing now. So thank you so much for everyone who has supported it. Let's jump into these charts so I can get out of this airport and you can get the information that you need. First chart we go to always is SPY. Now we see stocks and bonds up for the day, gold down. What do we see going on? Well, we have a bounce off the red signal line on the S&P 500. Price movement well above the weekly trend line. We have a big fat green candle going up. The derivative oscillator has gained just a tiny little bit of energy. Price percent oscillator is heading up nicely. You could almost look at this like, there wasn't a crossover going down, but it's almost like a crossover going back up again. So we'll see how long this lasts. What do we see on the 2-day chart? Well, of course, it crossed over also for the 2-day candle ending on the 13th, Friday the 13th. And let's look at the 4-hour chart. What do we see there? We see 4 up candles. Again, that's looking nice. Not a lot of movement for the day on Friday, 0.08%, but up nonetheless. Now, what are we looking for at this point? Well, we don't want to buy at the top of the top. We're going to wait for a rollback on the 4-hour chart going down. And then once it crosses back over going up, that's when we would jump in. So we're looking for movement that looks like it did back on the afternoon on Monday the 2nd. When that occurs, if indeed it does occur on that 4-hour chart, that's when we're going to look to jump in. Now, let's see what's going on the Qs. The Qs didn't ever get as close as the S&P did to crossing over going down. We do see that the Qs is losing momentum on the derivative oscillator. However, price percent oscillators popped up and we have a decent candle. Price movement is above the weekly trend line. As we go to the 2-hour chart, what do we see? Well, we see on that 2-hour chart, it is into its 8th day of up movement, and it just crossed over going up. Now remember, it had crossed over going down, so we can now change the 2-day chart away from the down move that it had been before into a confirmed up move. And we'll go ahead. This is what's so beautiful about freestockcharts.com and TC2000. It's so easy to use. We're going to get rid of, for the time being, our 2-day trend line. Again, like we said, price movement's well above the weekly trend line. And what we'll be looking for, the derivative oscillator also crossed over into the positive. What's going on the 4-hour chart? Again, we see that the Qs was up 0.08, just like the S&P 500 was. And hopefully we're not having a topping off here, but we're going to be careful. We're going to wait again for a rollback going in the opposite direction and then cross back over going up on the 4-hour chart, and we'll jump in. So we'll keep our eye on things and see what we see over the course of the next week and if anything sets up for us. Okay, next we go to TLT. That's 20-year bonds. We have 4 weeks of nice up movement on 20-year bonds, derivative oscillator gaining energy, price percent oscillator heading up. What do we see on our 2-day chart? We see the 2-day chart again tracking sort of sideways. Again, we've not seen price movement really move strongly up. We had a bit of a rollback. Well, we had a lot of indecision on that last 2-day candle ending on Wednesday the 11th. This latest one is an up move, and again for the day, TLT was up 0.25%, and derivative oscillator losing momentum, but the price percent oscillator is heading up on that 2-day chart. Now, what do we see on the 4-hour? Looks like it's trying to cross over going up. Keep our eye on things. If indeed it does over the course of this next week, that would be an opportunity to get into a long trade. That is to do a purchase, a virtual purchase of TLT. And let's see how long we can ride that up movement. Hasn't happened yet, so keep your eye on things on Monday. And let's see what we see. Be prepared for that. Lastly, we go to gold, down for the day 0.44%. Now that's in keeping with what gold has been doing for many, many weeks. We did have a bit of an up week, but again, price movement closed right there at the weekly trend line. And we see that gold continues to head down, price percent oscillator gaining downward momentum, as is the derivative oscillator. We go from the weekly to the 2-day on gold. What do we see? Well, gold has really continued again its down movement after 4 days. The 2-day candle ending on the 5th and the 9th going up. We've seen that down movement. So derivative oscillator still losing downward momentum. Price percent oscillator not quite flat, but still headed down. And again, keep in mind, price movement is well below that weekly trend line on the 2-day. Now, what's happening on the 4-hour? Well, as you all have been following it, you saw a nice down move in the morning and a good jumping in point in the afternoon for continued down movement in gold, as we had previously discussed and urged you to keep an eye on. So that's where we are, folks, as we end the week and go into this next week starting on the 16th of July. Thank you so much for being with us. If you haven't purchased the book, make sure you do so you get that special training offered only to our book purchasers, and we so appreciate your support of all the work we do here for you without cost every day. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.